Hello there, my name's Dante. Welcome to the second part of my podcast on French food. This time, I'm going to start with a vegetable stew called la ratatouille. This stew comes originally from the area of Nice in the south of France. That's why its full name is la ratatouille niçoise. Niçoise means from Nice. The word ratatouille is a combination of two words. Rata is a way to say stew, and the French verb touiller means to stir. In other words, it's a stirred stew. La ratatouille is made with aubergines, courgettes, tomatoes, onions, peppers, herbs, and garlic. It can be served with rice, du riz, or with bread, du pain. In fact, you can eat it however you like, hot, warm, or cold, as a main dish or to accompany another food like meat or fish. In French, the main course is called le plat principal, and a side dish is known as un accompanying. Okay, so now let's move on to something different. Mustard, la moutarde. It's well known that the city of Dijon in the region of Burgundy is famous for the production of mustard. Mustard from Dijon is called la moutarde de Dijon. However, the best quality French mustard is known as la moutarde de Bourgogne, mustard from the region of Burgundy. And why is it so special? Well, it's made using locally grown mustard seeds, rather than importing them from other places. When buying mustard from Burgundy, look out for these French words on the label. Indication géographique protégée. Whenever you see these words, or the abbreviation IGP, it means that the product was created according to traditional high standards with ingredients that come from the local area, and that it's the real thing, not fake. Next, I want to talk about a fish soup called la Bouillabaisse. It's a famous dish, originally from the city of Marseille on the south coast of France. It makes sense that a recipe containing fish comes from Marseille, because it has a large port and obviously lots of fishermen. There is a famous fish market there where every morning the local fishermen sell the fish they caught during the night. This market is called le marché du vieux port, meaning the market of the old port. It's the perfect place to find fish for la bouillabaisse. The word bouillabaisse is a combination of two French verbs, bouillir meaning to boil and baisser meaning to lower. Because first you bring it to the boil and then you lower the heat to let it simmer gently. The category of fish that is traditionally used in la bouillabaisse is le poisson de roche, meaning rockfish. As you can tell from the name, they live around rocky seabeds. Other ingredients used are onion, leek, tomatoes, potatoes, and fennel, also garlic, saffron, and herbs. The fish and the other ingredients are all cooked together in a pan, but do you know that this actually creates two courses? The first course is the liquid that's in the pan, in other words, the soup. The soup is also known as a broth or a stock. The word for this is un bouillon. This soup is traditionally served with little slices of fried bread sitting on top. These bread slices are called des croûtons. You can also add a spoonful of a special mayonnaise sauce on top of each crouton. This sauce is called la rouille. It contains saffron and garlic. In French, the first course of a meal is called un entrée. Now let's talk about the second course of la bouillabaisse, or as they say in French, le plat principal. This course is the fish with the vegetables. And if you like, you can drizzle some of the soup over it. Sounds like a very convenient recipe when you have two courses in one cooking pot.
C'est génial!
Okay, let's now talk about a dessert. Well, how about a pan of warm pancakes served in a syrup of caramelized sugar, orange juice, melted butter, and grated orange peel? Delicious. This famous dessert is called les Crêpes Suzette. The finishing touch before serving les Crêpes Suzette is to drizzle an orange-flavoured liqueur called Grand Marnier into the pan, then to set the whole thing alight. Yes, you heard me correctly. Food that is set alight with a burning flame before serving is called flambé. And what's the point of doing this? Well, the flames caramelize the sugar and also reduce the strong taste of the liqueur. There are various legends about the origin of this dessert. One famous story takes place in a restaurant in Monaco in the year 1895. The Prince of Wales was sitting at a table, waiting for his dessert to be served. A young chef called Henri Charpentier was preparing the dessert for the prince. It consisted of pancakes heated in a pan with orange juice, butter, and Grand Marnier liqueur. Unfortunately, the pan caught fire, and the pancakes were burnt. The young chef was too worried about the prince complaining about his dessert arriving late, so he decided to serve the burnt pancakes anyway. Luckily, the prince thought they tasted delicious, and as a result, a new recipe was created. The prince decided to call these pancakes Suzette because it was the name of one of the guests sitting at the table. It's quite remarkable to think that one of the most famous French desserts was created by accident and involved a British prince who later became King Edward VII. Amazing. Okay, we've now come to the end of the second part of my podcast on French food. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon with the next episode. I hope you'll join me then. See you soon. À bientôt.